Hello everyone and welcome to this week's live card class. I am going to get started here in just a minute, but while everyone is hopping on and joining us, I thought I would talk to you a little bit about World Card Making Day. This is a day that's coming up this Saturday, October 7th, and Stampin' Up! Is celebrating with a special event that anyone can join. This is a flyer that I printed off. They are suggesting 3 different bundles that you can use to craft along with them on Saturday. The stamp set on this one is currently out of stock, so unless you have it already, I would pick one of these other 2. This is a brand new one that you can purchase right now, and it will be in our upcoming January to April mini catalog, but it is really a cool one. It has a variety of sentiments and then this fun hexagon punch. So if you have not seen that in our online store yet, that is a brand new product that you can order. And last year when they did this, I think that after the World Card Making Day event, you couldn't order it anymore until the catalog. So I'm not positive about that, but I don't know if it's going to be available after the event or how long. So I'll have to double check that, but that's kind of fun. When I'm done, I'll post a link to register for this event. You definitely don't have to register for it. You can just join in on Saturday. But if you register, they will email you the link and you can get all of the information. You can print out this flyer that tells you what products you'll need to craft along with them. And then they even have project sheets to kind of give you instructions. And the event last year was really well done, so I highly recommend joining in. I forget the exact time, but it's in the afternoon on Saturday, so that'll be fun. I think it's 1 to 4 p.m. Arizona time, so that's Pacific, so you can adjust for your time zone, but it'll be lots of fun. I do have a host code for this week. If you like what you see today and you would like to order this card class, if you place an order today through Tuesday the 10th, any amount, I will send you a PDF tutorial for the projects I'm going to share today. I will be sharing all the measurements and everything in the video, so you can copy that way. But if you would like the PDF tutorial, you can just place an order this week. If your order is more than $50, you'll get the class kit to make the 3 cards that we're doing today. And then if your order is over $60, you will also get a free package of these iridescent adhesive back discs. We're going to use these on all the cards today. So I will keep this up here, but I will post a shopping link in the description when I'm done that already has the host code attached, so it's really easy to shop and make sure you get those freebies. Now, like I said, we are going to be working with the Merriest Trees Bundle today. So the bundle includes this stamp set and then the set of dies, and the dies are just so much fun. There's one stamp for the tree, but there are, I think, 5 different sizes that cut out each part of the tree, so you can make trees of different sizes. You can add some texture to your card by cutting out each layer separately. And then there's lots of fun accessories, like this one cuts out your garland for your tree. This is for the tree trunk, or you can make a fun base for your tree. There's this tag die, which I love. Of course, these cut out all the little presents. You've got ornaments. You've got different stars to put on top of your tree. This is just a really fun set of dies. And I like the stamp set too, but the dies are really what make it. So we're going to work with that today. And then I wanted to point out this designer series paper. This designer series paper is our Making a Difference product, this catalog. They always do one with our holiday catalog. And $3 from every pack of this paper that is sold is going to go to Toys for Tots. And I think that is awesome. Plus, this paper is really pretty. It has classic Christmas colors, and it coordinates with the Merriest Trees bundle. So the dies will cut out some of the trees in the paper. And then it also coordinates with another bundle in the catalog. Let's see if I can get it here. The berry Christmas suite, so it'll punch out some of the bears in the paper too. So that's kind of fun that it coordinates with 2 different bundles, and I wanted to make sure to share that with you today since we are using one of them. I know I'm going to move this a lot. I'll try and keep that straight there. Okay, so would you like to see the cards we're making today? Of course you would. I have 3 cards to share with you today. Let's see where my third one went. So we are going to be making 3 different cards using the Merriest Trees Bundle. And we are using a lot of different stamps from the set. And then I wanted to show you a variety of designer series papers. This one is not part of a suite, so you can pair it with anything. And of course, I did use that Walk in the Forest designer series paper on this one. It does coordinate with that, but it is not part of a suite, so you can pair it with anything you'd like. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for watching. If you are just joining in, make sure you say hi. I'm so glad people are here live today. That's so much fun. Okay, we're going to start with this card today. This one uses the Merry Bold and Bright paper, and the ribbon and the iridescent discs that I'm using today are also a part of the Merry Bold and Bright suite, and I think this paper is probably my favorite. I don't know. It's hard to pick a favorite because all the papers are so amazing this catalog. But this one is a lot of fun. And I think it's the only paper that has not gone out of stock at least once already. So maybe they ordered a lot of it, but it's a good one. Okay, so if you end up placing an order this week to get the card kit for free, this is what you're going to get. I'm not including the bundle or anything. If you want to stamp your cards exactly like mine, make sure to add that to your order. But you'll get all of the pieces so that you can put the card together. And you could substitute your own stamps if you want to do that as well. So we have a shaded spruce card base. This is my favorite green for Christmas. I've heard some people don't like this green too much, but it is my favorite green for Christmas. So that is what we're using for this card. And then I have a piece of basic white that is 5 1/4 by 4, and I have embossed it with our new, I think it's called the Snowfall embossing folder. So I'm going to adhere that to my card base and just layer it flat on there with your adhesive of choice. I like Stampin' Seal Plus, but you could use glue or regular Stampin' Seal. And you can decide if you want to have more snow falling from the sky or if you want all the snow to be on the ground. I don't know. I've made cards both ways, so that is up to you. Then we have a piece of the Merry Bold and Bright Designer Series paper, and this one measures 1 1/2 by 5 1/2. So I will layer that on next. And this one is flat too. And you just want to line it up with the edge of your card, and it'll overlap that embossed piece a little bit. And then this is a piece of Granny Apple Green foil. This is part of the Merry Bold and Bright suite too. It comes in a package with Melon Mambo and Granny Apple Green, and it would be fun to cut some of those trees out of this foil, I think. But I forgot to bring my glue in here. This is a thin strip, so you probably want to use glue, but I forgot my glue, so we're just going to use seal, and I'm going to fold it over and make it work, because this is a very narrow strip. I double-checked everything before I came in here to do this video, but I always forget something. This time it was the glue. Alright, so I'm just folding over my adhesive so it doesn't stick out on the edge. Look messy, but if you use glue, you won't have that problem. Okay. So then I'm just going to line that up and kind of cover the seam where the Designer Series paper meets the white, like that. And it's so shiny and pretty. I love it. Hi, Joan. Thanks for watching. I love more people are joining in this week. That is great. Okay. Let's do our stamping. I'm going to start with my sentiment, and we are going to stamp in Shaded Spruce ink. And this banner is from the Stylish Shapes dies. I am sure you all have a staple die set in your craft room, and this is one of mine. Use it on a lot of cards. Okay, we'll stamp our sentiment. Move that out of the way. And then if you get the card kit, one of the trees I did do smaller on this card, but I'm going to give you a piece that's big enough to stamp the whole tree. So like I said, it is one stamp, but you can cut out trees of different sizes using the dies. And you're going to want to make sure that you have a foam mat underneath because this is such a large image. And hopefully my shaded spruce ink will show up okay today. It needs to be re-inked, and I just ordered the re-inker, so it's not here yet, but hopefully we'll get it dark enough. All right. Oops. I'm going to flip that over. I'm sure that's never happened to any of you before, right? Where you slip and get ink where you don't want it to be. Okay. Give that a good press down. All right. It's okay. It's not perfect. Like I said, mine needs to be re-inked. Now I'm going to clean off my stamp so we can stamp again in the Granny Apple Green. So give me a second. All right. Granny Apple Green is hopefully a little juicier. We'll see. I never used to order the re-inkers with my ink pads, but I am starting to build my collection of re-inkers. Maybe I'm just using my ink pads more. I don't know. And this is a big enough stamp you could turn it over and ink it with the ink pad on top too. All right, let's ink this one up. There we go. We've got that tree, and it looks like I got something on my stamp, but that's okay. I'm going to clean the stamp off one more time because we will be using it on our third card also. Okay, now we need to cut the trees out, and let me see. I guess I should have one more thing to stamp. I'm going to stamp 2 of the tree trunks in Pecan Pie ink. So let's pull that out. One there, and one there. And now we just need to cut everything out. All right, let's move this out of the way. So the largest die in this set is this large tree, and it is just the right size to fit in our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So if you do not have the big machine, you can fit it in the little one. And that's the largest die in this set. So all the dies in this bundle will go through the mini machine. So I'm going to line this up. And we'll put a little bit of tape down so it stays in place. And then we'll send it through. Okay, there's our first one. Look at that. It looks very nice except for that white mark, but maybe we will. Oh, and you know what? I did it wrong, guys. I'm not paying attention. All right. It will get covered up because guess what I did? On my card, the dark tree was the bigger tree, but that's okay. We'll do it opposite this time. Okay. So now I'm going to grab the next size of die, and let me scoot this back so you can see. So this time we're just going to be cutting out the top 4 layers of the tree. So this is kind of nice if you stamp and one of the layers of your tree doesn't look very nice, just make it smaller and cut that layer off. Okay, let's see if I can get this back in. With the mini machine, you do need to stagger your plates a little bit to get them to go through nicely. There we go. I'm going to have to tape my host code paper next time because it's going to bug me when it keeps going crooked. Okay, so we've got that, and now we need to cut out our 2 tree trunks. So there's that one. put that die away. Now some of our die sets, they do, like this one, there's more than one of the ornaments to cut out, but there's only one tree trunk, so we'll have to do those one at a time. But it is nice to not have to fussy cut. So the dies cut out most of the images in this stamp set, which is really nice. Run that one through. So there's, whoops, that went flying. Okay, good, I see it. I thought I lost it for a second. There's one. And now I'll send the other one back through. And you'll see it come through on the other side here. Maybe not, I guess my hand's in the way. Got to hold this mini machine more than the big one. I think it moves around more. Okay, there we go. We've got all our die cutting done, and now we just have to assemble everything. So move that back out of the way. Straighten this back up. And put this die back so I do not lose it. Okay, so my first card, I did the bigger tree in the dark one. The only reason I did it different this time is because I cut it wrong. And I didn't want to cut it in extra time. All right, so let's start by gluing our tree trunks on. And you can decide if you want this pointed part to go down or if you want it to be flat on the bottom. And I wanted it to be flat. So I'm just going to put a mini glue dot on the top and then kind of center it on there. And we'll do the same thing with the other one. Oops. Okay, like that. And then, let's see, I think I did this, the bigger tree I did flat. It depends how bulky you want your card to get, or if you're just giving it to somebody in person, you could put this one on with dimensionals too. Okay, so there's that one, and then we're going to cover up that white spot. And this one I did use dimensionals on. So let's add a few on here. Okay, put that one there. Now before you put your sentiment on, we're going to add some of our adhesive back discs, kind of like as lights on the Christmas tree. These are so much fun. So for this card, I just used all the colors because I thought that was like Christmas lights. And you could have any color of Christmas lights. So I'm just going to put some on. The sentiment will be going across the middle here. So we don't need to put them on the whole thing. Let's see, kind of see where that goes. Maybe one more up here. And then we'll add some to the other tree. And you can use whatever colors you would like again. And I'm using my Take Your Pick tool to get them off. These I found work better with the pointy end. But that's just my preference. Let's see. Do that there, and then let's do a red one at the top. Okay, these are really shiny in real life. I don't know how well that comes across on the video, but they're super shiny and I love it. Okay, then I did my sentiment flat too. I send most of my Christmas cards in the mail, so I wanted to keep it more flat, but like I said, you could always add more dimension. Okay, and then to finish the card, we are going to use some of the iridescent ribbon. And it's really shiny also and pretty. Since it's white, you could color it. So that's kind of fun. But we're just going to tie a bow and add it to the end of the sentiment. If you do get the card kit, your kit will not include the ribbon or the embellishments. You can use whatever you have at home. So if you like this ribbon, you may want to add a roll of it to your order. And then remember, if your order is over $60, you will get the embellishment for free. And I used the same one on all the cards, so you can use those too. Okay, I'm just going to add my ribbon to the end with a glue dot, like that. And there's our first card. Super pretty. I love this one. I love the greens. I love the shiny discs for the lights. Let me know what you think in the comments. And I don't know, it looks good either way with whichever way you do the trees. Okay, on to our second card. This one, we are going to use the Joy of Christmas Designer Series paper. This is a really pretty paper, and there is a pattern in it that has music notes. I chose the embossing folder with the music notes because I was singing the song, We Wish You a Merry Christmas, in my head while I was making this card. So I thought the music notes were perfect. And I used some of the other dies in this set to do the tree base and the star at the top. So that's kind of fun. And we're going to do a little heat embossing on this one too. So this one starts with a real red card base. And then this is a piece of the Joy of Christmas Designer Series paper. And look, actually it's this side that has the music notes. So if you did a different color scheme, you could use that with this sentiment also. But this piece measures 5 1/4 by 4. So we'll lay that down on our card base. And then this is embossed with the Merry Melody embossing folder, and the Countryside Corners dies is the shape. And if you are not a music person, so this one has your treble and bass clefs on this side, but an easy way to tell is some of the notes have dots, and you want to make sure the dots are to the right of the notes, and then you'll know your music is going the correct direction. So if you're not a music person, that is your little trick. The dots should be to the right. But you know what? If you're sending it to somebody who doesn't know anything about music, it doesn't really matter because they won't know either. Okay, so this part I popped up with dimensionals. Okay, so now we're going to do our heat embossing on our tree. So I cut this tree out of shaded spruce again, my favorite Christmas green. I'm going to pull back in my foam mat, and before we ink it up with the Versamark, I am going to rub my embossing buddy over it. So we have a little embossing kit. And if you do any heat embossing, I highly recommend it. I'm going to show you the different parts of it here in a second. I believe the embossing buddy is part of it too. So I inked this up in Versamark. And the embossing buddy that I rubbed over it, that just takes away some of the static so that your embossing powder is only going to stick to where you put the ink and not to the rest of your card. So I'm using silver embossing powder today. We have several different packages of embossing powder. Mine I got before they were packaged together, and you can tell by the label it is super old. But the embossing tool kit comes with this little tray. It comes with the brush, and it comes with the tweezers. So I was wishing for a tray like this for a long time, because when I used to go to classes years ago, I remember using something like this, and then Stampin' Up! Didn't have it for a long time, and then they brought it back. So of course I had to get one, because it helps you not make quite so big of a mess. I can tell my fan is blowing it a little bit in here. Okay, but see how well that embossing buddy worked. The embossing powder didn't really stick anywhere except for where I wanted it, which is good. I'm just going to blow a little bit to get some of these stray pieces away. And then I'll set that aside while we clean this up. So this is the nice part about the tray. You can take this off. And then we're just going to use the brush to brush the embossing powder back into its container. So then there is less chance that you will make a big fat mess. Not a 0% chance, but the chances are less. Sometimes I feel like the embossing powder gets all over the place. So, no one can tell if I get silver embossing powder on my husband's desk. Okay, I think I got most of it. And I got a little there, but that's okay. Alright, and I just keep everything in the tray, the brush, the embossing buddy. I'm going to use my tweezers to hold this. And I have an old heat tool, but this is going to be loud for a second, but watch the magic happen. There it goes. Okay, so now we've got our nice shiny "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." I love heat embossing. It is like magic. Okay, so now I'm going to add my star and my tree base, and these I cut out of silver foil. This is not in our catalog anymore. It is an online-only product, but it comes in a silver foil specialty pack, so it's 3 different types of silver foil. So I'm just going to use a mini glue dot and put the star on top of the tree, and then I'll put a line of adhesive back here. And again, you could use glue for this if you wanted to. Put our tree base on, and then we're going to add the tree with some dimensionals. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of center it on there. And then we're going to bring in our iridescent discs again, and this time I'm going to choose the red ones because that kind of goes with my color scheme here, and we'll just add a few around the card wherever you want. And then we'll finish off with a bow of that iridescent ribbon again. I like to tie my bows when the ribbon is still on the roll, because that way you don't waste as much. So that's my tip for you today. And then we'll just add this in the corner with a mini glue dot. Up here like that. And there's our second card. Pretty simple, but that embossing kind of packs a punch. Okay, let's move on to our last card. This one is the one I used the Walk in the Forest Designer Series paper for, and this is one of my favorite card layouts. So if you do card swaps, sometimes you need to get a lot of cards out of your Designer Series paper. And so, or maybe you're just wanting to make a bunch of cards and you don't want to waste. So these 2 pieces of Designer Series paper are 3x4, so you can get 12 out of one 12x12 sheet, and you won't have any go to waste. So this is one of my favorite layouts because you can put one piece there, and then you can put one piece up and down with a 3¼ by 4¼ mat of cardstock underneath. And then, you know, you can decorate the center however you'd like. But that's one of my favorite layouts to use with Designer Series paper because you get to see a couple different patterns and you're not wasting any of the pretty paper. Okay, I think I got all my pieces out here. So for this one, we have a balmy blue card base. This one, if you are a fan of non-traditional Christmas colors, then this card is for you. I like both, but the non-traditional Christmas cards are just so pretty, I think. And I love blue for Christmas. So I'm going to adhere that first piece of 3x4 Designer Series paper to the bottom of my card base. And then I have a piece of Pretty Peacock that's 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And a second piece of the Designer Series paper that is also 3x4. So we'll layer those together. So this one's a fun one too. If you cut your card base to 4 1/4 by 11, you can tie ribbon around the center right there. That also looks really nice. So a couple different ways you can go with this layout, but that is why it's one of my favorites, I think. So this part I'm going to pop up with dimensionals. If I can get the backing off. There we go. So Balmy Blue and Pretty Peacock. I don't know that I would have come up with that color combination, but I think it's pretty cool. Okay, so now we have our little tag that is cut out with the Merriest Trees dies. So I love this for Christmas tags. It is a great size. And we're going to stamp some of the little snowflakes on the back. So I'm going to use my Balmy Blue ink and just stamp them randomly kind of across the top. And you can turn it a little bit so it looks more random. I am going to use a tree to cover up some of it, so that's probably good. All right, while I have the ink out, I think I'm going to do my sentiment too. So the sentiment is on a piece of white that measures 1 3/4 by 3/4. And I'm going to stamp the love and joy in Pretty Peacock ink. And then the to you and yours will be in Balmy Blue ink. Like that. And then we're going to stamp our tree image again in Pretty Peacock ink. So we'll pull that tree back in. And this one, if you don't want to ink up the whole tree, I'm just going to use the top 3 layers, so I really don't need ink on the whole thing. So you could have a smaller piece of paper, but I would give you the whole piece in your card kit anyways. Okay, let's close up the ink so we do not make a mess. And then I'm going to cut this piece out with my dies. So I'll bring my embossing machine back in. And let's see, I'm going to tape this up again so it turns out all right. Doesn't move too much. There we go. All right, send it through. Maybe. There we go. It didn't catch the first time. All right, there we've got our tree. Move our trash out of the way. Move this out of the way. Okay, so on our tag, let's see. I have my tree and I'm cut out the tree trunk this time. This is more the Joy of Christmas paper. One of the patterns is kind of a wood grain in pecan pie. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did with my other tree trunks and just adhere it with a mini glue dot. And again, you can decide if you want the point up or down. Okay, like that. And then we'll attach him with some dimensionals. Like that. And then I'm going to put our sentiment across the middle. And then we're going to use a little bit of the iridescent ribbon again. I'm just going to cut a short piece here. And then I also have some silver twine. This is from our Simply Elegant trim. And it comes with gold and silver. So I have a piece of the silver there. and thread the ribbon through. And then I'm just going to tie a bow around it with my silver trim. If you wanted to, you could loop your ribbon through and do a knot too. That's up to you. Okay, that looks pretty good. Just going to trim a little bit off that side. And then we'll bring our card back in, and I attached this piece with dimensionals too. And I'm just going to cut a few off the edge. Make sure you use all of your dimensionals. Don't let that part go to waste. I would run out so fast if I didn't use the edges. I still run out fast because I use them so much. Okay, and I put my tag at a little bit of an angle, like that. And then we're going to finish off with our iridescent discs again, and this time I'm going to use the blue ones. And I don't remember the exact colors of these iridescent discs, but because they're kind of shiny and, I don't know, the light catches them differently, you can pair them with a lot of different colors, and it kind of takes on the color of whatever you're using. So, like in this case, they look balmy blue. I'm not sure if they actually are balmy blue, but they look balmy blue. Okay, let me move this out of the way, and we'll bring all 3 cards back again. So here are the 3 cards that we made today. If you love them, make sure to give some love in the comments or give a heart. I think this bundle is so much fun, and I hope that you like it too. And remember, if you would like to get a card kit in the mail for these 3 cards, you can place an order this week. And I also, before we go, I have a list of suggested products that you might want to order to go along with your card kit. Of course, you would want the bundle. These are the 4 ink pads I used outside of the Versamark for the heat embossing. You might want some of the ribbon or that Walk in the Forest Designer Series paper that coordinates with the bundle. I'll leave this up here for a second so you can take a screenshot if you want or come back to this later. And again, like I said, I'll post a shopping link in the description and a link for World Card Making Day. If you haven't registered yet, I hope you can join us for that fun event on Saturday. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you loved this week's cards, and I will see you again next week. Bye.